Good afternoon from Brown Farms. Thanks for tuning in to A Berry Good Life. Wanted to give you an update. This is April 1st. No joke. And we've had our berries planted in Hightunnel C, which is where we're at, for about 3 weeks. And you can see that they're doing very, very good. Today we're out here and we're going to fertilize for the first time this year. And I'm also going to have a few that did not make it, and I would estimate maybe 2%. So probably around 8 to 10 replants per row. We'll get that done today. But I wanted to show you just how we laid this out. And if you are wondering, if you're ever thinking about doing it, what we have is two sides, what I call two sides. This side here, these berries are, this is the second year for these berries. In other words, we planted those last spring. And on this side, obviously we just planted these about 3 weeks ago. So what's going to probably happen, or what's happened to us in the past, is these berries will, obviously they are way ahead of the ones we just replanted, and these will start fruiting in about 30 days. And we'll come on down here. You can see they are loaded, just loaded. So it's time to hit them with a little jolt of fertilizer. Now on this side, it's still, this is white on black, 36-inch wide. And we do 4 plants every 1 linear foot. So I'll kind of show you what that looks like here. In a linear foot, this is 3 foot. Get this down here. 3 foot. Here's a foot, 1 foot, another foot. So that's in that span. So in this foot, I've got 4 berries. That's how that works out. And if you want to kind of see how that looks, I have approximately 10 inches to every berry. So there's 10 inches here, 10 inches here, and 10 inches to the end. And you're saying to yourself immediately, well, that don't even add up right, Todd. Well, it does, because it's on an angle. So I have 1 foot between these. I have 10 inches here, 10 inches here, and then my last one. And I always think of it as an angle. 4 berries. And underneath this fabric, we have a drip line right here and a drip line right here. So in this Hightunnel, I have 12 200-foot drip lines, which is approximately 2,400 foot of drip tape. And that is just about the maximum that I can run. I try to keep my flow under 5 gallons a minute. So with that said, that's just about all you want to do is 24. I'd actually like to keep it in the field below 2,000 foot. Now, this Hightunnel will hold approximately 4,500 berries. Now again, these will start about 3 weeks sooner than our replants. So these will produce probably around 400 pounds, and then these will kick in and I'll get a big blast of them here. But then they'll settle down and just keep producing all year long. Now, I told you there's 4,500 berries in here, but very likely there is more, because if we kind of go through this looking, see if I can find what I'm talking about. Oh, right here. When these runners start running, they tend to want to, they'll take hold and the roots will go right through this. There's one right there. There's another one right there. That's a plant, that's a hole. So there's one and there's one. So what you end up with is probably 20% more, just because they want to, and we let them. Let's go over on this side, see what we have here. I believe that's one. There's an extra one. There's an extra one. There's an extra one. Another extra one. And I'm not going to pull them out. I mean, they have flowers. There's blossoms. So we just let them go. Packed full. Now by the mid-year, these are going to be about 1.5 feet high. This will be more of a shrub. and they do get too thick, but they usually don't get too thick till about October. So let me show you how we actually fertilize this. And this just what works for us. Certainly do the math and look up what you're actually applying, because it's really aggravating when you start killing your plants because you fertilize them too much. So this is what I do, and keep in mind there's 12 rows of drip tape in here to get this to all work. So let's put this down, and well, actually I'll show you what I got. We bought these. You can get them pretty much anywhere, but I think that is a 2-gallon tank, and hooks right into the head assembly. So when it kicks on once a day or whatever you want it to do, it automatically feeds. Now what I've found is I've got it set so I get about 2 hours of irrigation before it totally drains the fertilizer. About 2 hours of run time. So in the summertime, if I'm watering a ½ hour a day, I usually get a whole week. I let it go a whole week, and then mix it. Usually on Mondays I'll fertilize. So let's see. I filled that 2-gallon tank up already. And I'll come in. Okay, that's a cup of 20-20-20. And that weighs approximately 1 pound. That's 1 pound of 20-20-20. So we'll just start dumping her in. I hate it when it starts clumping up. Just about useless. You know, there's nothing perfect. I keep okay, there's 1 pound. And we'll see if we can get kind of work this up a little bit. There's about another pound. So there's 2 pounds. Now that's not 2 pounds of nitrogen. That would only be 0.4 pounds of nitrogen in that whole tank. And then we'll fill this up the rest of the way. Kind of rinse that off. Now, if you're wondering why that black fabric is around this, it is my finding that if you don't hide it from the sun, in about 3 weeks, you will have so much algae in that that'll never work again. So save yourself some headaches and wrap it. Alright, let's lock that in and bring it a little bit closer. And I set mine on the fast setting, which means that, and you get about 2.5 hours and it will be totally dissolved and clear and not blue anymore. So we'll just turn the tank on and see what we get. Turn the head assembly on. I'll grab you. And we'll turn these on. I hear it. Now, as soon as that air gets out of that holding tank, you will see in this line here, going back up in here, right to there, you'll see that turn blue here in a second. Yeah, it's been in here all year long in the winter time, so one never knows whether it's all going to work right. But as a rule, I think it's about 4 years old, so they hold up pretty good. I wouldn't advise keeping water in here if it's freezing though. I think that whole injector assembly probably cost 120 bucks maybe. I think I got them at Rainflow. But they work remarkably well. They do not work for field application when you're really pumping a lot of water, but they will work in your high tunnels very well. There you go. I am injecting fertilizer into all the lines for the first time right now. And we'll see how this works, but they should respond very quickly. Now that you have to understand, you'd have to look up the specs on it, but that's that blue coming out of the fertilizer tank. So by the time it gets into the main line, into the drip line, you really don't see any blue tint to it. Sometimes you can tell right in the sunshine there's a little blue tint yet, but for the most part you're not putting that much on. It's just a slow, continuous fertilization. So let's come on down. Now I will go and actually going to fertilize for the first time this year our raspberries and blackberries, but it's really critical to get in here and get the strawberries done because they are so advanced. They're just really cranking here. Look very good, very pleased. Here, I'll show you. See if you can see a little bit of blue tint. Just a slight blue tint coming out of that water. That's all you want. Now on the old side, we still have the drip tapes on top of the fabric. It's a little bit more work when in the fall. I mean, you can't mow over these drip tapes unless you want a million pieces of it. And ask me, I know. So on the new part, we put it back underneath. The only thing that it may inhibit is these runners, when they start throwing roots out, they do like where the water is dripping on top of the fabric, seeping in. And that may be the reason why they take hold so much on top. But I don't know what the benefits. We'll see how it goes. Every action has a reaction, I've been told, and anything I ever do on the farm, that seems to be true. So there's my explanation of fertilizing inside of a Hightunnel and how we do it. And it works. I hope you have a great day. From A Very Good Life, Todd Brown, signing out.